Hi there. The purpose of this video is to give advice on how a domestic property may save on their electricity bills by using appliances more efficiently, using them more carefully, and just thinking about how you're using appliances and what appliances you're using and how long they're switched on for. Power and energy are related, but they're not the same thing. Power is the rate of doing work. It's the rate of energy transfer. Energy includes power, the rating of the appliance, multiplied by the time that appliance is switched on for. Power is measured in units of watts. Energy is measured in units of joules, or in terms of electrical energy, it's kilowatt hours is read on the meter. So for example, if you have an appliance that's rated at 1000 watts, 1 kilowatts, you leave it on for 1 hour, it's going to clock up 1 unit, 1 kilowatt hour on your electricity meter. Another example, an electric kettle rated at 2700 watts. If it takes 4 minutes to boil that kettle from room temperature up to 100 degrees C, then it's going to use 0.18 of a unit, 0.18 kilowatt hours. If you use that kettle 10 times with a similar amount of water in it, then you're going to use 1.8 kilowatt hours, 1.8 units are going to clock up on your meter every day. So it does mount up. The approximate cost at 40p a unit would be 72p. That doesn't include any standing charges. It's an indication that if you repeatedly use a kettle, then you can get upwards of charges of about £1 a day, obviously depending how many times you boil the kettle, how many people are in the house. Another example here, background power. If you've got appliances in the background like Wi-Fi, like lights that have been left on, like perhaps central heating pumps, say there's a background continuous power consumption of 50 watts, then 50 watts over 24 hours time, the energy is going to be 1200 watt hours, which on your unit, on your meter, is going to be 1.2 units. That's just for things operating in the background, Wi-Fi, chargers, TV, standby. So it does add up. It's cumulative over time. The electricity meter measures energy, so it does depend, as a reminder, on both the power rating and how long you actually switch them on. So for example, when people say they're selling low energy bulbs, it's not strictly true. They're low power bulbs. How much energy you use depends on how long you switch these appliances on for. If you take a smart meter, first generation, if you want to know how much units you're burning every day, particularly if you've got two rates going on, RO1, import register RO1, import register RO2. If you've got multiple rates, for example day and night, then what you want to do is to press button 6 on a smart meter. RO1 is normally the day, RO2 is normally the night, the economy 7 rate. So, energy saving tips. The first thing I would do in a house is replace all filament lamps, all lighting with LEDs where possible. Payback time is now very quick. LED bulbs are relatively cheap now. A lot of filament bulbs you can't buy anyway. LEDs are the way to go. A lot of people tend to leave lights on. Absolutely, the first thing you should do is replace all light with LEDs. If you can get access to economy 7, so that's a night rate, normally between midnight and 7:30 in the morning, a lot of suppliers will give you effectively half price on that. What's good about that is high powered rating items like washing machines, dishwashers. You can put them on timers during the night, or you can put them on first thing in the morning, and you will substantially cut your costs because you're getting 19p a unit instead of 40p a day rate. Where it's really going to save on your electricity costs, it's to pay particular attention to the high power rated appliances, washing machines, dishwashers, tumble dryers, for example. A microwave, for example, 800 kilowatt microwave, use that rather than using an electric hob, which is rated higher. Obviously, some foods don't particularly cook well in a microwave. Frozen food is great. Frozen vegetables in a microwave, very easy to cook. Make sure you turn off lights and appliances when they're not in use. Avoid keeping appliances on standby. To avoid boiling kettles multiple times, store the water in a flask. Make sure chargers are switched off when you're not using them. Tumble dryers, only used in emergencies. Unless you're desperate for a shirt to go out at night, you can leave clothes drying even in the winter in a house over a number of days. Tumble dryer, probably rated at 2 kilowatts. You leave that on for an hour in a day, that's going to use 2 units. They really burn a lot of energy. If at all possible, it's worth investing in small amount of solar panels, say between 2 and 400 watts. Get 2 solar lead acid batteries to back it up when it's not sunny, so that you've got some element of lighting power that provides security of supply against blackouts, and also provides, for example, phone and laptop charging. Particularly on sunny days, if you can use that generated electricity on demand in real time, you can save yourself quite a bit of money. Fridges. Do you need your fridge at 1 or 2 Celsius? No, it only needs to be on the minimum setting. Compressor is in a fridge. The compressor is connected to the electricity supply. A fridge doesn't burn electricity continuously. It's only when the compressor's on. You do not need your fridge to be at 1 or 2 Celsius. Put it on the minimum setting. If you've got a freezer, do you need to use a freezer? If so, keep it full to avoid cooling empty space. Cooking meals. Do you really need to be cooking 3 meals a day? Do you need to be eating 3 meals a day? 2 meals a day would suffice for most people, provided if you're not particularly doing a manual job. Cooking meals in bulk and freezing the excess for other days is a very efficient way to use electricity for cooking. Typical appliance settings, power ratings. The way that you're going to save a most amount of money is to pay particular attention to the high powered rated items. Shower, 8 kilowatts, an electric shower. People tend to go into showers for 5, 10, 15 minutes, but obviously very high power rating. Do you need to be having showers every day? I'm not questioning somebody's hygiene, but really, do you need to be having a shower every day? A simple wash might suffice. Immersion heaters, again, in a water tank. Kettles use flasks to store the water. Tumble dryers do not use unless an emergency. A typical oven, when it's heating up, will use 2 kilowatts power rating. Large amounts of cooking will burn the energy, there's no doubt about that. Vacuum cleaner, 1000 watts, 1500 watts. Do you need to be vacuuming your floors every other day, every week? Would 2 weeks suffice? I'm not questioning somebody's got a questioning how often they should be cleaning their house, but if you want to save electricity, is it really necessary to be hoovering every few days? Would once every couple of weeks suffice? Toasters, yeah, they're rated. Washing machines won't be continuous 1000 watts. When the water is being heated, the power rating of a washing machine will be 2 kilowatts. When it's spinning, it will be maybe 500-600. It's not continuous at that. But a typical washing machine on an hour cycle will use 1 unit of electricity. Dishwashers, similar. They over an hour cycle, it will be rated about 750 watts. Effectively, on an hour, it will use about a unit of electricity. Compressor in a fridge freezer, normally rated about 100 watts. That's not on continuously. A typical fridge freezer will use about 1 unit a day. Other elements: central heating pump, 50 watts, laptop chargers. Make sure it's standby. If you don't need to be using chargers and TVs on standby, switch them off. It's amazing just how some of the background power, even though it's quite small, it does add up. Significant savings will come from your careful use of the high power rating appliances. Do you need to be cooking 3 meals a day? I would suggest not. Do you need to even be eating 3 meals a day? Unless you're doing a heavy manual job, you don't need to be eating 3 meals a day. Again, not questioning somebody's hygiene, but do you need to be using a shower every day? 8 kilowatt shower on for 10 minutes will burn 1.3 units. So you have a few uses of a shower a day, it really will bump up. These are just some simple tips. Just with a little bit of thinking, a little bit of discipline, and referring to your electricity readings, you can get your electricity use down by a few units a week if you just put a little bit of thought and a little bit of discipline into it. Thank you for watching.